think SDA is an all-encompassing party. And an alliance. We will serve every person who is in Singapore, basically whether they are citizens or they're just visiting us for some time here and there. But the distinction we really want to make is the difference from true blue Singaporeans who were actually people who came up, went to NS, served all the way, grew up with the values and culture of local Singaporeans, versus some people who are here only for certain years.
Harminder Pal Singh, Singapore Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And this evening, I'm very honored, humbled, in fact, to be seated, I think, in a room full of people which has the highest IQ level in this entire country. Let's give yourself and ourselves a big hand before we start. I want to say thank you to the President of NUSS and all the members who have invited us here to share. Normally I take 33 minutes just to do my introduction. So to try and share with you in 3 minutes, it's going to be a challenge, but I'll try and do my best. I noticed as the chairman thanked the PAP speaker, he said something very sweet. He said PAP took a little bit longer. For a moment I thought maybe he's talking about 50 years being in power is the longer that he was talking about. On that note, 50 years is a very long time, and I think due credit must be given to Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and the pioneer leaders of PAP, because they brought us from third world to the first world status that we are today. But is it a little bit too long? Let's give it, yes, let's give it. Thank you. Forgive me, I hope the 3 minutes doesn't include the clapping time.
It does.
And the laughing time, but it's okay.
It does.
But it does, okay. But I come back to something crucial. Please take note of this. Times have changed since the day Mr. Lee, and he also came in on power as an opposition leader. And 50 years ago to today, times have changed so much that we also need maybe a little change in the government and the future of Singapore. And I believe two things. Number one, SDA that I'm representing is in the right place at the right time, because we have always been the voice of true blue Singaporeans. We have always stood up and spoken for the voices that they were never spoken for, whether it's to issues with healthcare, whether it's transport, whether it's the population white paper, and you can go on, whether it's education, whether it's employment. Let me put it this way. The SDA is an alliance, and when an alliance comes together, we do not just believe in one man, one party being the correct and the only party being able to rule, especially in a country like Singapore, where every corner, everyone is educated, well educated enough to be able to stand up. Number two, think for ourselves. And number three, most importantly, also align our personal goals with the goals of a nation. I think, ladies and gentlemen, GE2015 is the right time for all of us to come together and start thinking of a better future for this country, for our children, and the next 50 years. We will be covering in our manifestos. I only heard one bell. I got 30 seconds. 2 bells, sorry.
5 seconds.
Okay, 5 seconds. I just want to say something. There's a lot of details that we have. Everyone who is sitting here is capable enough. And I end off with this. I agree with the speaker from PAP. We need a strong leadership for the next 50 years, because this country, ladies and gentlemen, deserves to go beyond first world. And together we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Harminder Pal Singh. You took a little bit longer as well. and without license.
Thank you. I'm not going to be making any introductions, but I just want to suffice to say one very important thing. It is the kind of candidates that also matters. I come from a military background, so many of us men here do. From left, right to yes sir, no sir. Our thinking and the way we've been trained in the military will always be in that same thought pattern. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just say one thing. Without introducing the candidates for Pasir Ris Punggol GRC, where we stood in 2011, where we stood, and we will stand again as Singapore Democratic Alliance, I will just say one thing for sure. We do not have candidates of the same kind of background, number one. Number two, those who come from the same thinking kind of structural training, if you know what I'm talking about. And most important, no, serious, this is important. The world is changing. We need people who can think out of the box. We need to have a Singapore with a future that comes with leaders who are able to put input from different sides. Now, 16 people who are leaving from that party, together they have hundreds of years of political experience. Now, that is what we are going to lose. And replacing them, 16 more who are coming from similar backgrounds. Now, that's what I am more worried about in relation to his question. So, without declaring, I'll just put it 4 things to you. Number one, we are going to put forward a Generation Y entrepreneur, a person who knows, who started his own business and he is excelling. Number two, I have got an ex-civil servant in our team for Pasir Ris Punggol who served with the government for many years and the top leaders, and he knows how the systems worked. He knew what was right, but now he has become disillusioned like many other Singaporeans. Number three, we have a man who was running a town council. We spoke about Mr. Chiam's success, but that man was the one behind Mr. Chiam for 14 years. No offense. And I'll tell you something, for 14 years he ran the town council, and today I'm very proud to say he is also one of our potential. He's the SDA chairman, you all know him. And talk about name calling, he's the only one who has gone into the Singapore viral fever where people have made a mockery of his speaking skills. But I tell you something, don't judge a man by how he speaks, but judge the kind of policies we want to put forward, judge the kind of future we want, because getting the right candidates also includes this. And I end off with this. The last two people...
It must end.
Yes, I end. The last two... No, the reason is the mold. The mold is important. The last two on our candidacy, you'll be very happy to know, includes a lady who is an expat, who travels the world, who knows business herself, and she's bringing out the know-how from overseas back here. And last but not least, another party which may be race-based, but even their big chairman will be on the team. So my point is simple. We need diversity, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, Singapore cannot excel the way we have excelled in the last 50 years. Thank you.
Harminder wants to say something. Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Harminder, yes.
Can I just pick up from what he just said? And it is very crucial. The gentleman asked the question, will the government promise us, notice the words, will the government promise us that priority will be given to Singaporeans, something along those lines? Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to bring the focus back to the people of Singapore. Democracy, I've always been told, is the rule of the people, by the people, for the people. Let us not wait for a promise from the government, because the issues that were raised 4 years ago and the issues we are still fighting about this time will be still there in another 10, 15 elections time, unless the people of Singapore say enough is enough and we take action. That is, to me, I think, the most important thing. Politicians can come. We will be here, but I also want the third leg, not just the government, not just opposition, but people of Singapore. Are you also ready for a change? You need to ask yourself. SDA will always fight. We are against the 6.9, not because of economic issues. That is important, but the infrastructure is not ready. And why complain all the time? Maybe you need to support now the rest of us opposition. Put us in power, because until and unless... No, I'm serious.
Mr. Chairman, could I jump in,
And I
please?
end up with the last sentence. And unless we are in power, nothing will actually change. It will be theoretical debates every 4 years. Why? Until I'm old man, white hair, and I will still be talking about the same issues. We need your help. Singaporeans, this election, make a change. Vote for us. We promise you, we will fight that your CPF comes back at 55. 6.9 million and many other issues will be changed, but we can't do it alone. We need every Singaporean support us. Thank you.
Harminder?
Thank you. And I'd like to keep this short. Two of the questions were very generally based on the idea of education. not just what's happening right now, but will our children have a good education, or are they going to face similar problems? My answer is very simple. SDA is going to stand for, and you can read all these details in our manifestos and all that. The focus has to be moved a little back from just academic education for our children, as important as it is sitting in NUSS, but it has also now got to be more holistic education. And I think that has been something Singapore has not focused much on. Our children have to understand that it is okay to have other goals and other positions in your life, which will relate to something called the minimum which we haven't touched this evening. I didn't know whether it was a good topic to bring up, but we're going to be bringing up on our topics that it is okay if your passion is in line with something else which is not that doctor, that engineer, and although my father wanted that too, but if you like to do something else in your life, then holistic education needs to come in, because our children cannot be faced with the same mechanical lifestyle that we have been brought up with, and they cannot have the same problems that we are facing today. That's number one. Number two, he's right in saying if our education system was that wonderful, then today we would not need to import so many external people into Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to put our hands. Yes, everyone says Singapore education system is wonderful in every way. Then why do we still need, if there were 50 over 1,000 in one of the surveys that I was reading, unemployed, in that same time there were 20 over 1,000 people who were brought in. What is wrong with our own Singaporeans? Are we not giving them that correct education which is going to give them the life skills to be able to earn a living and make a life for themselves? Now comes the important, crucial question. Are the opposition people ready for a change? Are we ready to take the responsibility of governance? Are we ready to be an alternative for Singapore? And since this is going out to all Singaporeans, I want to start by assuring every Singaporean who is seated in this room and also watching us live or later on YouTube and all other channels, that no one who is sitting on this stage has any bad intentions for the future of Singapore. Am I right to say that? None of us. So that fear that only one party can actually look after the future of our children and Singapore as a whole may have to now take a back seat. Each and every one of us are educated now. We are capable enough. And ladies and gentlemen, it is our responsibility as Singaporeans to not just look forward to them ruling, but all of us coming together for the betterment of Singapore. And I end off with the last question. Effective democracy, effective governance. Ladies and gentlemen, last 50 years has seen Singapore with nothing much that we had in terms of our own natural resources. Coming from a very third world country to the first world, we proudly call it uniquely Singapore. Let me tell you something. I don't care about any other country whether they can balance democracy with the idea of having a good governance. But I know people of Singapore together, all of us in every party, we can come up with a model not just for our country in the next 50 years, but it will be a model that every other country will follow and say, yes, good governance and good democracy go hand in hand. SG 100! Thank you. Thank you.
From the Singapore Democratic Alliance, Mr. Harminder Pal Singh.